Hi, welcome to Tzomet Cybersecurity Training Course Open House for the August 2021 cohort, the group starting this summer in Edelsman, Bezrat Hashem. So I'm here today to present what we're doing and why we're doing it and how you can come along and join the program to get ahead in your career. I'm gonna try and be really focused today and share with you a lot of information, but only stuff that's really relevant for you. And of course, if you'll have questions, you're welcome to contact me and we'll get back to you and we'll see how we can work together. So I do want to start with just the briefest of backgrounds about Tzomet and our cybersecurity training course. My wife and I founded Tzomet over a decade ago to provide members of our community with career guidance and training. And we're focused on, we're big picture people. We're part of the international employment universe. And we're looking at job opportunities that fit people in our community and that open up new pathways to Parnassa to help people earn an honorable living. It's based, our insight is based on personalities, understanding people, as well as understanding the international job market. We've developed various tools. We've developed various programs. We've trained people to work in a variety of fields. But what we found over the past 3, 4, 5 years is that cybersecurity is the place to be. And it's not for everybody. We're going to talk today about who you need to be or what kind of person you are if you're going to succeed in this field. But we put together a training course called Learn, Train, and Work, and where you're going to learn the skills you need. You're going to get hands-on training, including an internship, which could be on site or remote. And then we're going to help you get placed and start working, whether that's in the US, UK, in Europe, or of course in Eretz Yisrael. We do maintain a really active network of relationships with companies working in the industry. We've actually helped a few young startups to really get up on their feet and prosper, who today have a whole Haredi SOC, Security Operations Center, of Beis Yaakov girls or Yeshiva Bachrim. And so we've really made some important things happen in this really exciting and challenging and hot field. So let me show you more about it. Again, this slide is about understanding the many factors that go into making a really good career decision, about your expectations personally, as well as community expectations, part-time, full-time, work from home, work on site, economic considerations, what kind of money am I gonna earn? And that is, of course, not a trivial point. One of the key elements of the excellent opportunity in cybersecurity is sort of the ratio, the reward investment ratio regarding time invested. You're going to have to work really hard in this course to learn a mammoth amount of information. But if you will now begin a college program, let's say you're coming back from seminar, going back to New York or wherever you're going, you spend maybe a gap year in yeshiva or whatever. And now you're thinking, okay, I'm going to spend the next 3 or 4 years in college. Okay, that's wonderful. I have a college degree. My wife and I both have master's degrees. So we believe in, a liberal arts education and getting a great education. That's wonderful. But if you're really a focused person and you're looking for bang for your buck, you want to spend the least amount of money in the least amount of time in order to earn the most in a satisfying job that will give you some flexibility as a professional. So then cybersecurity is a really great place to be. Because without getting a college degree, but by taking a training course and getting international certification, you could be, in a year from now, a year after the course, you could start working and earning really nicely. That it would take other people 3 or 4 years to get a college degree to start earning on that level. So it is a unique opportunity that's created by job market factors in the international job market. In short, there's a giant shortage of talent in the cybersecurity market, both in the US, in Europe, in Israel, all over the world. So we have a golden opportunity here. So let me explain in more detail why cyber is a good fit for members of our community. As I said, there's a shortage of talent and, Baruch Hashem, we're a talented community. We have people who know how to learn, okay, and love to learn. Jewish brains, intellectual curiosity. Being in the cybersecurity industry means lifelong learning, because I'm going to talk more about the bad guys a little bit and what they're doing, but they're using technology for their own benefit, basically to rob banks and to, steal other people's money. And they're always coming up with new ways. That's how they earn their living, by stealing it from others. So we have to outsmart them. We have to be there to battle them at every stage and everything they do. We have to outdo them and undermine them and fight back, etc. So you're going to have to always be learning more. What are they doing and what can we do to mitigate their attacks? So the barrier to entry, why doesn't everybody do it, right? And the answer, because you have to have a little bit of seichel upstairs, and you're going to have to apply yourself. It's not obvious. No one was born with understanding of cybersecurity. You got to learn the stuff sort of step by step, block by block. Another advantage for us is that no college degree is necessary. A college degree is nice to have, but it's not must have. So it looks good on your resume and that could open some doors, but essentially to start working in this field, you need to know how to do stuff, not to have a bunch of credentials. And I would take this opportunity to mention that there are, some people ask, well, should I get a college degree in cybersecurity? So I want to be, brutally honest. We spoke with the dean of a program in a university. I won't mention their name. And they told us about their master's degree in cybersecurity. And we asked them, well, do they know how to do this, that, and the other thing? And they say, no, we don't actually teach how to do cybersecurity. We teach about cybersecurity. And that's like almost worthless, because how are you going to get a job with that? You'll study the sociological dynamics of why people are using cyber. That's garnished, okay? That's a waste of your time. Don't do that. Our course is not nearly, the price it's going to cost to get you a college degree like that, but it's going to teach you hands-on stuff, how to use these tools that are out there that have been developed, and how to develop your own and do your own research and so forth. A tiny bit of programming. So if you have a computer background, again, that's excellent, and that enriches you as a professional in this field. But you don't need to know programming or become a programmer to succeed in this field. So as I mentioned, there's high pay after short education, a really excellent ratio there. I'll show you some numbers later of average salaries in the US. There's a lot of flexibility in this industry. The industry, they're sort of hackers. The guys working in the industry, they're called, ethical hackers or white hat hackers, because they're good guys. They're not doing anything illegal, but their attitude towards life is pretty flexible and easygoing. And so there's not a strong dress code, or, you probably don't have to be at work at, 9 a.m. You need to get the job done. So if you want to work all night and sleep all day, that might work. Work from home possibilities. I'm going to show you later on a number of professionals that have presented their career accomplishments and sort of career pathway to our students. And a number of them have been working mothers who are at home with their kids. When their kids are done with GAN or school, they're at home at 3 or 4 o'clock. And then maybe they work in the evening after their kids go to sleep. So there are work from home possibilities, maybe not at the very beginning, like maybe you're going to start working and maybe 9 to 5. But after a period of time that you've developed your expertise, you can expect to have definite flexibility. So as I mentioned, Tzomet, and this is a picture of my beautiful wife, Hannah Ratner. She's speaking here at Tel Aviv University Cyber Week at a meeting called Women in Cyber, and she's standing next to a guru of Israeli cyber. We're well connected. In the industry, we have connections, certainly in Israel, but also in the US and elsewhere. I want to show you a number of Haredi women and a man who are really at the top of this field, because you sort of think, oh, who am I? I'm Beis Yaakov girl, I'm Yeshiva Bacher. What shaykhs do I have to cybersecurity? And the answer is none right now. But as I said, no one was born being a cybersecurity expert. So it's about learning and getting into it, and you could do that. This is Ann Neuberger, and she holds a very, very important position in the United States of America as the NSA Cybersecurity Director, okay, for the National Security Council. That's her position today. And she's a Beis Yaakov woman from a very influential family. This is another Haredi woman, sort of Gur Chassid. She's Baal Tshuva. She's on our team. Her name is Holo Sergachov. Here she is at our Hanukkah party. That's me and that's her. We had it online, and she's really smart, go-getter. And so she's a mentor to our students. Here's another Gur Chassid, a guy named Yisrael Gurt. Okay, he's about 30 today. And he is an inventor, a hacker. Okay, here it says he's a hacker, and he has his own company, and he's very successful. Again, he didn't learn that in Yeshiva Ktana nor in Cheder, but he's a hacker. He learned it on his own, and he's a very successful guy in the field. So that's the way is open. Who works in the cybersecurity field? So of course, there are people coming from the military, the police, fraud research at commercial companies, the intelligence community. That means, the Shabak or the CIA, whatever. But 34%, that's more than a third, are coming with no prior experience. Okay, so that's us basically. We're taking students who have no prior background in technology or in any of these fields, and they're coming into the cybersecurity field and bringing a fresh mind. And we have students, we do have students in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and maybe even 70s, who are bringing their lifelong professional, accomplishments and attitudes and skills, and now applying that to the field of cyber, and they're very, very valuable. But if you're just starting out, again, you're a SEM girl or a yeshiva bacher, so you're at the beginning, but the sky's the limit. You could take your first step and really go far. This is important to me because I mentioned that it's not for everybody, and it's not for everybody, but it is for a wide variety of personality types. And again, as I said, our expertise is in personality types. So here I'm dividing them into 4. Gold types, or people rule keepers, and they're about the square boxes, crossing your T's and dotting your I's. And so there's a whole discipline in cybersecurity of regulations and auditing. It's called GRC, governance, risk management, and so forth. Then there's another type of person who's red. They love action, and they, are hackers essentially. So there's called red team, which means you are, again, you're doing things that are legal, not illegal, but you're a penetration tester. You're doing PT, pen testing, to see how a company is vulnerable, to show them what they need to fix. So you're basically working as a hacker for the good guys. There are people who are very people-oriented, a people person who love to teach and to help others and to train. So cybersecurity training is a really hot, again, sub-discipline in the cybersecurity ecosystem of teaching other people how to be careful, how not to fall for phishing attempts and so forth, how not to get tricked into participating in cybersecurity schemes and scams. And the 4th type are blues, and blues are like blue-blooded. They're like intellectuals. They're interested in science and data. So research and development. And again, this is a data-rich field. So there's a lot of room for research and development. You like to, a threat analyst to find out what's going on, what are the new attack vectors, and how to, reverse engineering is another aspect where you're looking at the bugs, the malware that the bad guys are putting out there, and you're doing the reverse engineering to figure out how it works, and again, how to mitigate it. So all different kinds of people. This a YouTube, I'm not going to show you the video at this time, but here's a graphic designer, here's a trainer, here's, a woman with a hijab, okay, with her head covered. She's a network security admin, a social media consultant, an ethical hacker, all different kinds of people who all have a place in the cybersecurity ecosystem, as I said. And here is a beautiful graphic, which I picked up, and it's branches of the cybersecurity field. Because you might think, oh, cybersecurity is one thing. It's not, okay? It's, as this slide shows, it's maybe not a million different things, but there are tens of different jobs types, and job descriptions, all within this domain, cybersecurity domains, they call it: threat intelligence, user education, security operations, security architecture, physical security, and this one's called risk assessment, and this one is called governance, okay, laws and regulation, et cetera, et cetera. So there are a real lot of career development. There are a real lot of different things you could do once you get the basics, which again, the course is going to teach you about networking, how the internet works, and then how it's being exploited and how we fight against that, et cetera, et cetera. But you could take that then in many different directions, and our students have. We have students who are sales oriented, right? They like to sell stuff. And so they're selling stuff now in cybersecurity. And we have students who are like teachers. And so they're now training other people in being more aware. Like at a hospital, we have students who work at the hospital. We had a Asaf Rofeh, and they're teaching people, the nurses and the secretaries, to be careful that, when you get this email asking for this information or to, buy a gift card for your boss, don't click on that because it's fraudulent. So anyway, there's a wide variety of career pathways within the field of cybersecurity. What are the specific traits for success in this field? So I mentioned already love of learning, curiosity, intellectual curiosity. How do things work? How could I do that myself? And so forth. Attention to detail, hands-on approach. Okay, so again, your hands are on the keyboard here. Creative problem solving, calm under pressure, okay? Because things don't always work. In fact, one of our teachers said it's 90% frustration rate, okay? Which I think is a slight exaggeration, but you do have to be calm, not to get overly frustrated when things don't work. You got to figure it out and make them work. And here, one of our teachers says this basically every class: the master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. So how do you get to be a master? By continually trying and failing until you succeed. So that's a good mantra. So I want to tell you, I mean, I think you probably have heard about it in the news, whatever you listen to or whatever you read, that there's a cyber war going on. But if you haven't, there's a cyber war going on, and it affects all of us. It's not just the Iranians against the Americans and the Russians and the Chinese and the North Korean and Hamas and ISIS, but it's all of us, because all of those players have hackers who are coming down and trying to take over our computers and sending us spam and malicious code and so on and so forth. So although it's like it's between countries and empires, it affects every individual. Cybersecurity defenses, real world, real time. You got to stay up to date. And that's important for me to say. We're going to teach you the fundamentals of cybersecurity and enough to get your first job, but you're going to have to keep learning for the rest of your life. And even during the course, you're going to be doing a lot of self-study. You're going to be researching on Google and Wikipedia and other sites about how various attack methods work, and a lot of tools that are online, and we will be teaching them, but then you'll have to continue your studies on your own. But I'm showing you right now real world, real time, because just in the past week, the United States of America is essentially reeling against a ransomware attack, which is when a cyber attack, locks computers of a company, in this case, Continental, the pipeline, and they can't pump gas essentially across America. So the Southeast is really hard up without gas. And so it's affecting flight patterns and a million other things. I mean, it's top of the list for President Biden right now. So this is a cyber attack. And so that just underlines and emphasizes the importance of this field, how it affects everything in our lives. And what we need are more talented, dedicated people to work in this field and fight the bad guys. You're essentially on the front of an international cyber war. As I said, you're not in physical danger, Baruch Hashem, but you're doing something good to save mankind against the bad guys. It's a little bit of cops and robbers. And this just shows the world's biggest data breaches and hacks, and some numbers of how many files were hacked. I mean, it's hard to really fathom what these numbers mean, 500 million. But here I do want to share this quote from Tom Ridge. He was the first Secretary of the US Department of Homeland Security. So he said, cybercrime is clear, present, and permanent danger. It's a permanent condition. However, the actors, threats, and techniques are very dynamic. So yes, there's going to be cybercrime from now until forever, but it's going to change constantly. As technology changes, the bad guys will be using it in different ways and different attacks. And so our defenses will also need to be constantly changing and trying to stay ahead of the bad guys, or at least not more than one step behind. So that's why this is a permanent learning situation, and essentially a permanent opportunity for growth in the industry. Because if you love to learn, and if you can stay with the curve of the development of technology, you become extremely valuable. Okay, and then you could, write your own ticket. I just wanted to show you some of the names of the various attacks: DDoS and SQL injection, defacement, account hijacking, DNS hijacking. And in the course, you'll learn not only how these work, but actually how to do them, and then how to mitigate against them. So it's a really, really hands-on, detailed course of what's going on in the industry. We've been through a hard year all over the world with COVID-19. COVID-19 just exacerbated the bad cybersecurity threat landscape. There's been so much abuse of the World Health Organization and a million websites of giving false information and all kinds of bad stuff, and putting people out of jobs. So some people who have lost their jobs are now turning to hacking to earn their living. So there's an influx of cyber criminals, okay? So COVID-19 has only continued to influence the growth of this industry. Another thing I'd just like to open your eyes to is that besides the fact that the hackers, the cyber criminals, are trying to steal your money, even if your business, or as a person you weren't particularly concerned about that, but your business is obligated essentially by law, regulations and standards to comply with cybersecurity standards. And so they need cybersecurity people to make sure that they are compliant. So that is also a growth driver for employment in the field. The fact that governments say that in order for you to process credit cards on your website, or in order for you to handle health information of customers, or for you to have a database of your customers, PII, their personal information. There's even in Israel a law about it, Chok Haganat Pratiyut. So you have to comply with ISO or GDPR in Europe. And so you need people who understand the rules and can make sure that the company is compliant. So that's, again, something that students in our course are trained to enter an entry-level position in these types of fields. There's a giant shortage. I'm going to show you a number in a moment of people in the field. It says here, official estimates put growth in the sector 37% per year, at least through 2022, and that's conservative. 500,000 cybersecurity jobs unfilled in the US alone. So that's some background on the opportunity in the industry and why we think it's a great place to be, and that we've had tremendous success in placing our students. Tens of students over the past couple of years have gone from, again, Beis Yaakov girl to cybersecurity analyst. And yeshiva bachrim who are working today as SOC analysts or business development or marketing or all different positions in the cybersecurity industry. So although it may sound far-fetched or could I really do this? The answer is it really works. We really have people doing it. So it's a great opportunity. I want to tell you about the course structure, the curriculum. I'll be happy to send anybody the details of it, but just to understand what it means to take the course. So one of our concepts was that it should be only once a week so that people, if they have other stuff, they're learning in yeshiva or maybe in college, or they're married with kids, whatever it is, they have a job, that they could still take the course. So it meets on Sundays from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. in Israel, which is, morning hours, let's say 10 to 3 in New York. So that's our class attendance. You need to attend class. If you had something, a chasana or whatever, an issue, so all the classes are recorded. So you could watch the recording instead of coming to class. We have a Slack channel. You may not know what that is, but it's basically an internet platform for sharing and direct messaging where the students form a group and they're able to ask each other questions and show each other the way of things that they found out in their research. So that's a really powerful element in being part of a group that's learning about the field. Some people say, oh, I could do it myself. Maybe you could. But a lot of times people who try to do it themselves don't go through with it. They stop after 2 or 3 weeks, or the going gets rough and they give up. But if you're part of a group, and then it's a really great motivating factor and gives you the strength to persevere. So there are homeworks most every week. There are labs, you're doing things online and so forth. Assignments, research, you write a paper about this, whatever. There are tests, Google tests and so forth. Outside resources, as I mentioned, there's a lot of self-learning, of researching things and understanding them. There will be a final project at the end of the course. Then we have opportunities for internship, working in actual companies. We have some companies that work with us on a consistent basis, and we're all the time growing our network of other companies. And obviously the goal is totally focused on placement. If you just want to learn a little bit about cybersecurity, so there are free courses online. That's where you should go. But if you're trying to develop a career for yourself, so come to us, because we're going to help you gain everything you need and actually get you your first job placed in the industry. Certifications do play a role in this. It's not make it or break it. You can get your first job without a certification, but some students like to get certification right away, and that's a good thing. So certification, it's like a standardized test. You go somewhere, maybe it costs you, $300, whatever. And you're taking a course, then it's recognized throughout the world. You put it on your resume, and that's a feather in your cap, and that helps you get hired. So that's a good thing. So again, look at this number. The total workforce employed in cybersecurity in the US is just under 1 million, but there are job openings of 500,000. Okay, so that means there's huge opportunity here. And you see in the States, here's in New York and so forth, that there are 20 to 66,000 positions. So there's tremendous opportunity. Just to give you an idea, what does a SOC analyst make in the US? Average base salary, $100,000. So again, it's well paid, particularly considering that this person may not have a college degree. He's come in after high school or yeshiva, whatever, gotten himself, taken a course, learning how to do this stuff, maybe got himself certified, and here he is earning a 6-figure salary. That's really attractive. And if he's good at it, so within a couple years, he could rise and be earning, double that or whatever. The sky's the limit because talented people are at a great shortage. So there's a premium on their time. There's something called an incident responder when a company has been breached. The hackers have gotten in and done stuff. So now they need experts to come save the day. And that's even a little bit higher paying and higher field of expertise. We have a number of people working today as incident responders. I want to share part of our educational program that we've incorporated over the past year, and it's called Cyber Stars, where we have both our graduates and mentors from the industry speaking to students during class time for 20 minutes or half an hour and answering questions. So Jennifer Habshush took our course and is today working in GRC for a company called AppsFlyer in Israel. Here's a guy, Avi Shapiro, he's a great salesman, and he taught our students a little bit about sales and the opportunities in his company, both in Israel and the US. Anyway, one of the things, that people might say is, oh yeah, cybersecurity, hot industry, and there's a shortage, but how can I really find my way to get my first job, get my foot in the door? And the answer is that we've worked really hard to sort of smoothen the transition by developing relationships with people and companies that are going to help you take that first step and get your foot in the door and land your first job. So that's a really important element of the value proposition of what we're offering. So as I said, I invite you to send me any questions you might have. Otherwise, we look forward to hearing from you and seeing you first day of class, which of course is over Zoom. Okay, so I hope to meet you someday, maybe in person, the real thing, we'll celebrate. But until then, stay safe. And I wish you bracha v'atzlacha b'kol ha'inyanim. So thanks for being here today.